Good morning, everyone. I'm meteorologist Joe Chaffee. Just want to give you a quick short range and a long range update all at the same time. First off, this is our low near St. Louis that brings the snow or has brought snow to much of the cities, bigger cities in the Midwest, including Chicago and Milwaukee. And we're going to move this weather system along, and you can see that it heads over it's actually tracking further south than what the models were showing. And now the low's in Louisville. And then turns northeast from there, heads towards Erie, and then eventually on up north of Lake Ontario. And you can see the front that extends southward. There's also a little bit of moisture here right along the coast. And there might be, I'm going to just back it up to the overnight, and this is for Sunday between 1 a.m. and 7 a.m. It does produce a little bit of shower activity over parts of Long Island, coastal New Jersey, and Connecticut, but it really doesn't amount to too much. And this is the cold air that's coming down behind it. It's not a bad, actually, it's a pretty okay shot of cold air. So it looks to me like it'll probably stay cold with temperatures below normal for the very first part of this week, probably Monday and Tuesday. Because of where the high goes out to the northeast of us, it's not going to really warm up very quickly. And now you can see all this action with very cold air that comes into the Rockies and low pressure that heads up through Minnesota, and you've got rain here through the Great Lakes. Now, what the models have been doing is this is a pretty strong cold air mass that's coming down into the west and into the plains by Saturday, and there's a trailing cold front. The problem is that with these sorts of things is you usually what winds up happening is you get some rain with the front, and you sit around waiting for maybe a change to snow before it ends on the backside, and most of the time it doesn't really happen. So we have some runs that show it, some that don't. I'm not really too particularly excited over this, but I do want to show you very quickly. I'm going to just switch off here as I want to look at the upper air dynamics. There we go. Get this up. And if you remember a couple of days ago, I talked about a split flow developing in the atmosphere. So I'm just going to back this up. And it looks to me that that is indeed the case. Now, here's the trough that's coming through now with this cold front and colder air mass. And that lifts up. And then we have this ridge that builds again. But notice this is a really very, very long wave trough that runs from Greenland all the way down southwest. That's a pretty long trough. It's almost like it's two separate systems really, because you have this up here in Greenland and then you have this down here. And we're going to move this along. And what I'm particularly interested in is right here. You see how this splits? This is going to be very interesting if this plays out, because you're going to have, it looks like we're getting the beginnings of a subtropical jet stream that's trying to get established, probably in response to the strong El Nino. And it shows up pretty nicely here, right there. See, there's the bottom half of the split, and here's the top half of the split. Now, the key to these things is you get, if the northern stream of this setup dominates too much, then you have too much cold air. If it doesn't dominate enough, you don't have enough cold air. Then on the other hand, if the southern part is too strong, you get too much warmth. If it's too weak, you don't get enough moisture. So it's one of these things where everything's kind of has to line up correctly. But again, I'm really very interested in how this split flow seems to be getting established, and this could lead to some interesting developments as we move into the first week of December. In the meantime, enjoy your day, rake your leaves, bake some apple pie, get ready for Thanksgiving, and we will update this a little later today as we take a look at some of the newer guidance and the newer forecast models on where this little adventure is taking us.